this question, the first thing you want to do is simplify, and simplifying always involves removing parentheses if there are parentheses. So you want to ask yourself, what is the implication of that parenthesis? Can I remove the parenthesis? And then once you simplify it, then you think about, how do I take the derivative? So here I would start off by distributing the 3x to both of these terms. So you're not talking about the derivative at this point. You're just simplifying, so you still have f of x. 3 times 18 would give you 54. X to the first added to x to the fourth gives us x to the fifth, plus the 3x times 13 gives us 39x over x plus 1. So again, here for the second term, we are multiplying 3x times 13 over x plus 1. We multiply straight across, so 3x is over 1, so we're just going to have x plus 1 in the denominator. Okay? Now, we know how to take the derivative of these two terms, but it's going to involve a little bit of work here. So when you look at the first, again, they're separated by addition signs, so there's two terms, so I'm going to differentiate term by term. So if you look at this first term, I can simplify that or I can take the derivative of that by using the power rule. So that's going to be a very straightforward power rule because we have x to a number in the numerator. Now, for the second term, this is not going to be as straightforward because when you look at the second term, you have two terms in the denominator. And anytime you have two terms in the denominator, that is going to tell us that we need to use the quotient rule. So for the second term, we're going to have to figure out our quotient rule. So we're going to kind of go off to the side here and talk about what that quotient rule would look like for the second term. So our top function would be 39x. Bottom function is x plus 1. Top function's derivative, we have a linear term here, x to the first, so its derivative is 39. Bottom function, and again, the coefficient, bottom function, we have x to the first, so that's linear. So we have 1 for that x to the first derivative, and then the plus 1 is going to go to 0. So now we plug it into our quotient rule, starting with the bottom times the derivative of the top. So just for this quotient rule part for the second term, we are going to have x plus 1 times 39 minus, and then the top times the derivative of the bottom, all over the bottom squared. Okay, so now we need to simplify. So to simplify, we remove our parentheses. So this 39 is going to get distributed. So we have 39x plus 39 minus the 39x times 1 just gives us 39x over x plus 1 quantity squared. So then we see that the 39x's cancel, so we get 39 over x plus 1 quantity squared. Now, that is equal to the derivative of the second term. That is not the derivative for the entire problem, because remember, the problem also had this 54x to the fifth. So we kind of went off to the side here. We thought about what the derivative would be for the quotient rule part of it. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put it all together. So our derivative for f prime of x, let me scoot this up here a little bit. So the 54x to the fifth, that's going to be the power rule. We bring down the 5. We take 54 times 5. That gives us 270. Then subtract 1, we get x to the fourth. So we use the power rule on this first term. Now, for the second term, we had to go through all of this work with the quotient rule, and we got that our second term's derivative is going to look like 39 over x plus 1 quantity squared. So when we put those two terms together, that is our derivative for this question.